Hey dude. So, decided to do a little video today, this time in the little woods. Kind of more or less where I live. Not too close, I still had to drive here. But I did used to come here a lot when I was really young with a friend that I no longer really talk to anymore. So, I suppose it's kind of funny. With the wrong mindset, this could seem like kind of a creepy video. But I'm trying to make it as much as the opposite as possible. Of course, that would totally ruin the atmosphere if this bridge were to break or cave in. So, a lot of fallen down trees over here. Can't quite tell what that white is down there. Don't know if you can see it. Hopefully I'm not disturbing somebody's game of ultimate frisbee. So, this tree right here actually makes it easier to go down this steep little hill right here. I don't know if you guys can see how steep this is, but I'm going to point the other direction so it's not so disturbing to look at. So I've been thinking a lot lately about what causes people stress, mainly in their work zone. So, let's see. There's a few squirrels. Don't worry, up here is a more tranquil place where we can just kind of chill out for a little bit. Still don't know what that white is. Maybe they're rocks? I think it's just part of the tree. So, I don't know about you, but a little while ago I did have kind of a rough experience when I was in a workplace. And recently I was talking to my friend about it. My friend that has moved away. But they come up every once in a while, so we visit each other. And that's all that was. It was just a trunk covered in snow. But anyway, she said that she had been resorting to alcohol to help her out in her new job. And she said that almost every day she'd practically have a panic attack. And I really felt bad because I was kind of in a similar situation a few years ago. And especially if you're a young man, maybe in their 20s, it can kind of feel like with the older generation right on top of us, it can be kind of hard for us to open up and talk about things that might be hard to talk about. Pretty much methods on how to deal with these kinds of situations, really. And it's okay to get upset or to cry. Because when I was growing up, I remember my dad used to say to me that I shouldn't cry. And as soon as I started to cry, that was me being weak, me showing weakness, And I just think that's so unhealthy. It's such an unhealthy way of raising children and dealing with problems, is saying that crying is being weak, or that crying is something you should avoid, because it's so quick for us to bottle up our emotions. If you look it up, if you do some research on it, all crying really is it's a way of releasing stress. Some people even cry when they're sexually frustrated, just because it's that release of tension. And I think that bottling that up and holding it as something shameful is only going to kind of make you keep bottling up your emotions. So what I was talking about earlier was how people might find a certain situation stressful and how they're able to cope with their stress in a work environment. And I really kind of boiled it down, and this is kind of my personal philosophy, is that if you're in a situation like that, and especially if you have anxiety, you always are thinking of the worst possible situation. And I don't mean that in a metaphorical sense. I mean that quite literally. You're always thinking of what's the worst that can happen right now. Like if heaven forbid something were to happen right now, would I be able to get out of it? For example, those thoughts kind of played around in my head when I was in this work environment that I mentioned earlier. And the bottom line was that, let's say if I was on my way to work, I had a supervisor that I really just absolutely despised. And that woman was a really big bully, for lack of a better word. And I just remember that going through my head, let's say if I forgot a document, if I forgot a piece of paper, I would always just go around my head thinking, if she were to find out about this, I would be screwed. So there's kind of this mental block that pops up when you have a supervisor that's strict, or just a superior that you don't get along with or that you're afraid of. Because fear is not an effective motivator at all. So I would think about this, and I think, oh my gosh, if she were to find out about this, or if I were to do this that way, then I would be screwed, because then she would find out, and she would yell at me, or whatever. She wouldn't handle the situation like a responsible adult should. Because if your supervisor is making you feel pretty much like crap for your mistakes, or if your supervisor is not leading you in a direction to which you should be able to improve upon, then that's a bad supervisor. You shouldn't be in a work environment like that. That supervisor, hopefully, has their own supervisor, which you can talk with and say, hey, this person is not helping me become a better employee. This person is not helping me develop my skills. And that was totally what was happening to me. So now, when you have your own boss, which is kind of more or less what I'm doing right now, not exactly long term, unfortunately, but I am my own boss for the time being, and it's working right now. Things are a little bit different, because let's say if I is the same situation right now, and I forgot that document, then your brain kind of always goes to the place where, you know what, it's okay because you can think of something else. Your brain kind of goes into these situations where if I forget that, I said, oh, okay, well, I can just bring it in the next day, or I can make photocopies, I can survive without that document. So you kind of begin to think about plan B, plan C, plan D. But if you're in a stressful work environment where that supervisor isn't going to let you go through that, they're just going to say, okay, you don't have plan A? What's wrong with you? Are you serious? Then you get that mental block where you think you're screwed. And this is why corporations are just this kind of chain of employees, who's on top of you, who's on top of that person, who's in charge of them. This is where it really tries to screw you over. Because your brain doesn't think about, okay, what's plan B, what's plan C, what's plan D. You start to think about, oh my God, my plan B or my plan A is not going to work and this person is going to be pissed. Which is sad, because how are you going to be able to develop off of that? Meanwhile, your supervisor should know that as long as you have plan B or plan C thought of, then it's going to be fine. And if you spend enough time without a supervisor, then you're going to do that automatically. So, it's pretty cold right now. That's kind of why I want to come out here, though, because I knew that there's not going to be anybody here. It's 0 degrees right now, Celsius. So it's 32 degrees Fahrenheit. And I really wanted to record another video today because I wanted to keep up this kind of schedule. And hopefully I can invest maybe into a better camera, maybe something to better record my voice, so I can keep making videos like this just for positive reassurance. So let me know what you guys are thinking. Let me know if you guys can relate to anything I've kind of talked about in this video. Oh, and I apologize for filming vertically. So if anybody is being mean to me in the comments, all that means is that they did not reach 12 minutes in the video. Which is okay, because these are long videos. So I'm going to end the video here. Hopefully you guys can start some sort of conversation with some of the problems we've been dealing and things like that in our home life. Don't be afraid to maybe send me a PM. I won't address your name or anything. Or just to get some topics to discuss and review and things like that. Alright, good night.